Wagerono, and welcome to another episode of Straight Talk. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Stock Sr., and with us today we have
Christine Taylor,
Ross Montori,
Bobby Deere.
Good afternoon.
Good
Welcome again. We're back on.
Again.
I guess that's a good sign. We're still here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the one thing that's different for me is I missed the cue. That we've been talking about going to kind of a weekly format, and the last time we talked when we were all together in this room was we were going to do 3 weeks on and I missed the cue. I was in Lake George. I got back and I got your message and I said, just the same one from last week. Are you going to take me in to take? So I did miss last week in more ways than one. I would have liked to have been on.
We had a stand-in for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or a sit-in.
We have a sit-in, and we had Jeremiah was here. Okay.
Yeah. So I think what we're looking at doing is we always have it. We always had that seat open for the community anyway. Anybody that wanted to come on, we're welcome. And Jeremiah came in, and we told him that we're looking for another panelist. We'd like to get a female in as much as possible.
I'm not female.
To
no,
give,
I'm just kidding.
to give Chrissy, I guess.
Somebody that I can talk to.
Yeah, more of the other side of things. And
no, there's a balance. There's a balance.
Yeah.
There's a different way
Definitely.
of thinking about things that mothers, women have in the
Yeah, because
community.
our concerns are not
Simple.
always the same as what's on the newspaper or whatever. We have a lot.
And
of
for
other
us, we don't
concerns.
have we just like la 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 la.
You got trucks.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of trucks.
Speaking of trucks.
And security, one of the main topics that we wanted to open up the show with today is the answer from the Longhouse, the Haudenosaunee Longhouse, to begin community patrols. Any information on this?
There was a press release that was out, and you have it there. Maybe if you want to just cover some of the highlights in case some people in the community didn't get to see it.
Okay. The Mohawk Nation at Kahnawake, people of the Longhouse, in light of recent concerns voiced by a number of community members over their safety and security within the territory, would like to inform the community that it has sanctioned the Rodiskarnagete Territorial Security Program. It's a voluntary vehicular vanguard that would begin patrolling the community immediately. And in the tradition, Rodiskarnagete, the men of the nation are inherently responsible for the protection of people and territory. To ensure professionalism and accountability, the Mohawk Nation at Kahnawake has developed a policy outlining the mandate rules, parameters, and so on of the security program.
So with that in mind, I think that because of the recent, the home invasion,
particularly
that
home
we had.
invasion.
I mean, we've always had, I guess, in some respects, security issues in the community.
Right.
And there was a request, I guess, to go back to having some other type of security. Some of the things were bringing back the checkpoints, community watches, and there was a lot of different ideas
That were put
out there.
Even making this a gated community.
Yeah, and to see how can we bolster what we have already. Obviously, the police of the day are the peacekeepers, and they're there for the legal aspects of it, but they can't be all over, and we need community support to help to do that.
Well, in the press release, it said that they're going to be working with the different organizations, so that's a good thing. And I think at the beginning of all this, when people wanted action right then and there, and maybe got discouraged because there wasn't direct action taken, but with patience, look what came out of it. And I know at one of the meetings there were women who wanted to go out there and do things right away. For myself, that's not our duty, it's not our role. And it was mentioned at the meeting by by a man who said, no, that's ours. So with just giving it time, it's been 2 weeks and now we have this, this patrol, and I believe it's what came out of all.
When you're talking about the meetings, you're talking about the community meetings that take place on the green space.
Right, and that have come from, actually started like a groundswell from Facebook. The Facebook community, the online community, has like come together, and then they had scheduled some meetings, and then further to that. But it's a grassroots.
It's a grassroots thing, movement, and it actually took, to my mind, it actually began prior to this event. And the reason I'm pointing to that is because it indicates that there's, whatever the concerns are in the community that community members are having, it seems more at this point in time that people are willing to gather and come together. I like the idea of the meeting under the green space, and coming together to discuss and take responsibility as community members to say, we're not happy about these things that are happening. What should we do? Let's put our minds together and talk about that. And of course this happened, and now this is an outgrowth of that. Right. And I think that the Longhouse, the 207, is responding to that too. They're responding to that, let's not forget, as community members also, as people in the community and as a body. So the response to it so far, at least on Facebook, has been very, very positive. People basically, yes, that kind of thing. I think we're all going to be looking to find out more exactly how will that actually function on the ground. Discussions about gated communities or checkpoints and all those things have taken place. And I think look and say, well, how do we do that? How do we manage that? Put a fence around Kahnawake.
Well, logistically, it's still something I guess we have to look at. What does that mean? What does it mean to have security or to have patrols out there? Or is it underneath the underneath the halo of the 207 and who's answerable to who, and how do you deal with certain situations, and what's the mechanism of intervention in the event something happens? Are they going to be armed or are they not? What's the legalities of it? There's so many other things that you have to look at, in other than just saying if we're just going in a vehicle and we're cruising and we're going to be there, and if something happens, we're going to phone the police and we're going to wait for them to get there. Is that going to work, or is that not going to work? We talked off air just before the show, and we were talking about one of the trends that was going on in regards to the Facebook issue. And part of it was some people in the community were complaining about phoning the police at times. And it takes 15, 20 minutes sometimes for them to get there. Sometimes they never showed up at all. Sometimes there was no follow-up. There was a lot of, it ended up to be a long conversation between a few individuals as to what are the police actually doing. And I was involved with. I was more helping, like trying to answer some of those questions on the police's side, but obviously I'm not there, so I can't give all those answers. And I tried to, I guess, not justify, but I was trying to rationalize some of the situations. And regardless of it, the people are still saying that what's going to happen and how is that going to be dealt with, and if the 207 patrols are going to be in there. There's also a security company in the community that's out there doing that. The police our peacekeepers are out there doing that. We have conservation that's out there volunteering, doing something similar. We have who else is out there? There's a lot of other entities that are doing the same thing. So how do we pull them all together somehow?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with by putting out letters like this, putting out the entities that are involved, having them come together you know, it's not like, and then coming together with the community.
Yeah.
The community has, you know, opened up its arms and say, okay, we want this done. And I think that, you know, this is part of all of us, you know, all the entities that be, you know, as Mohawk, I've heard it said as Mohawk men, we should be out there protecting our communities.
Yeah, so
You know,
hold
and
that
it's
thought.
inherent, it's
Hold
inherent,
that
you know?
thought. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll discuss some more when we come back right after these messages.